Now, following tonight's debate, we are hearing from McLennan County political party officials. 6 News reporter Cole Johnson live outside the 6 News studio. Cole, what were their takeaways?
Hey, good evening, Leslie. I spoke with Bradford Holland with the McLennan County Republicans and Mary Duty with the McLennan County Democrats, and they both had a lot to say about tonight's debate. So we're going to show you some more shots of the debate that just wrapped up here not too long ago. Now, when we're going to start with Bradford with the Republican side from McLennan County, he said it was a great debate. Donald Trump really got his message across and rallied the troops in his eyes. He mentioned that he felt Joe Biden didn't have a plan when it came to COVID, and he said some big moments for him was when he talked about where Donald Trump said that he ran for president because of Joe Biden. He also says that it was a good example of capitalism versus socialism, and he said Donald Trump was making frank points about border security and immigration. Now, for Mary on the Democratic side from McLennan County, she said the style was much better, respecting each other's time compared to the first debate. She said Donald Trump was a grown-up bully, saying he didn't have plans for immigration, healthcare, infrastructure. She said we need a president who is steady, measured, and will do the right thing, and she believes that's Joe Biden. And she talked about how Trump was talking about some unsubstantiated rumors, was what she told me. Now, I asked them a little bit about those undecided voters that are left in this election and whose debate tonight wooed those over to their side.
Because if I was looking for the person to vote for and the person, if I didn't know anything else and I was just going to pick the guy that I would trust Joe Biden. I didn't see anything that made me trust Donald Trump. I really did.
I certainly think it could have swayed those undecided voters. We saw Donald Trump looking presidential and having some very valid points. And I think we saw Joe Biden looking, frankly, old and frail and stammering some. And I don't think he won the debate.
We'll have much more coverage on this debate on our website, kcntv.com. Leslie?
All right. Thanks, Cole.